Hi. Part of the studio.
Hey guys, welcome to Proko. My name's Stan Prokopenko. This is Aaron Blaise.
Hey, man.
And we're here in his studio in Florida.
Yep,
The land.
It's near the sea.
Anyway, we're gonna be walking around his studio. He's gonna pull out some sketchbooks and some other cool stuff.
Yeah, everybody
Fun
asks me
toys.
about my studio and what's it look like, and it's actually really small. I have a very small room off to the side of my house, and I keep everything packed really tight in here. And actually, I cleaned up pretty good for you, so it's usually
did.
chaotic.
You got a haircut.
I did get a haircut. Yep. I kept my hair long for 25 years, and I'd cut it every 3 years and donate it. And over 25 years, I donated 8 feet of hair.
Well, this is the demo we've been recording. We did record the whole thing, the whole 2-day process, including the materials. And he does a line anatomy demo, talking about the motion and all the forms of the line. Proko.com/Blaise. You can pre-order now. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is I love, my favorite medium is drawing. I love to paint, I love to animate, I love all that. I have a big love of charcoal. And so lately, I've kind of pushed painting aside, other than my watercolors, but I've kind of pushed painting aside, and I've just been doing these really big charcoal drawings, and I like, getting right in the face of big cats, and they're big and dramatic, and they're fun to create the textures and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we did. So this is one that you can see all the little cat prints on it, because I had it sitting on my easel, and the cat was getting up and putting her paws on it. But it's a cat with cat prints, so there you go. But this is one I did for a demo on a live stream. A bison that I had seen in Yellowstone. That was a lot of fun. That took a lot of graphite, or not graphite, but charcoal.
I got one right here.
Oh yeah.
It's
yeah, let's trade places. So that's a big leopard. This was a wild leopard that I photographed in Kenya.
It looks like you're right under it.
Yeah.
Like, is that you? Did you cheat the perspective a little bit, or
no? That's because the way he was leaning back and looking up, and I happened to be in the Land Rover, sitting back quite a ways. I just had enough distance that I didn't have to look down on him.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, that one took me the longest as well.
How long was this one?
That's like 3 days.
3 days?
3 days of drawing. Yeah.
3 days at what, like 5 hours? 5 hours
Probably
each?
5 hours a day.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't go longer than 5 hours. Some people can, I can't. My brain gets turned to mush. Mushy. This one I did, I just wanted to do something a little more experimental. And I just let with the charcoal and creating the grass, I just used my eraser and just lightly pulled out all the grass with my eraser. Excuse me while I pull this out. That's one of the things I don't do, is spray fix any of my drawings, because it changes the way they look. And so I try to get them under glass as fast as possible. This is a lioness that I photographed in Kenya as well. It was on the same trip actually as the leopard. But this was a lot of fun to draw. I just love doing big drawings. Yeah, then one more. I did this tiger. I've got a whole bunch of them. And I've sold quite a few of these, but this is a tiger done in charcoal. Same thing. I photographed this tiger actually in Sarasota, Florida. It was at a big cat rescue place. And just thought it was a beautiful animal. If I'm not animating or not doing digital art or not doing watercolor, I'm doing these big charcoals. I love doing big charcoals. I've been experimenting on wood. I just wanted to see how charcoal and the pencil would go on that. And I did this one. I did spray, and it changed everything, and I had to go back over it. I want to get a big 4x8 sheet and just do a big charcoal drawing on this big 4 foot by 8 foot sheet. Do it on a big piece of plywood. I've got stuff all over the place in here, just lying around. Yeah.
Go ahead and lead the way.
Let's see.
The rest of your...
My wolf pelt. I got a wolf skin right here. This is from, there's a guy that I know up in Montana who raises wolves. He's got exotic animals. He's got bears. He's got all kinds of stuff. And he's been raising them for years. And so every once in a while, one of the wolves in his pack will pass away from natural causes, old age. And rather than just waste it, he'll use the pelt for educational purposes and that sort of thing. And so I was up there. I was just up there over the winter, but I was there last summer, and and he gave that to me. So that was really cool. Yeah, and so I use it for reference. I've done a couple of wolf paintings since then, and that really comes in handy. And so the animal, you know, he's continuing to give even after he's gone. This is my art bag. I've got a couple of them, and they're from Lilo Roche. There are a couple in India that make these bags handmade, and every bag is custom. You can tell them what you want, and they will create it for you. This one's jam-packed, but it's holds all of my pens and pencils and whatnot. And then inside here, I've got my palettes right here. I've got my watercolor block. I've got everything in here. Then we've got another pocket on the back that takes even more stuff. So I've got my watercolors in here. I've got my jars of water. You know, it holds everything. So I was just in Hawaii. I brought it with me to Hawaii, but these bags have been with me all over the world. You know, with our business, we do a lot of lecturing, and so we've hit 10 countries in the last year just going around and lecturing, and I bring this with me everywhere I go. And so I got one of the things I like to do. I see you holding this one. I wanted to show.
I saw this on your Instagram. It's
yes.
giant.
Well, see, one of the things I like to do is I like to when I go to the zoo. In this case, I was at a farm, and so I like to draw big. I bring out like a China marker, and when I'm drawing the animals, I like to sit down and just draw really big. And so I wanted something that I could put my big newsprint pads into, and so
18 by 24.
18 by 24, and so I asked them to make me a bag like this, but blow it up, blow it up huge. You can see how I can smuggle a child in here. It's just huge. And so what's great about it though is it takes these newsprint pads just perfectly. I got to stretch it out here, but it goes in. But there you go. So it sits in there perfectly. It fits perfect. And so I can go out to the zoo and bring all my drawing materials and my newsprint and everything else all in one bag.
Do you put it on a board or something?
Yeah, and I have a board too.
Okay. Yeah. And it fits in there?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Like even if I'm doing like character drawings, I like to draw big and on newsprint sometimes. I would do this at Disney. Like these are some just quick sketches I was doing of a real cougar. This was a cat that was a Florida panther. But you know, these are
that's from imagination though, right?
Yeah, that's from imagination. So I like to sit down and just do these big sketches of characters, and this is what I would do at Disney.
Hey, these are Brother Bear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
And this is a little demonstration I did on just using the eraser method of these characters. I've got piles and piles of these.
If you guys don't know, Aaron directed Brother Bear and he animated for Lion King and Aladdin.
I did Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and Pocahontas and Mulan.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are those characters from
No,
Lion
these
King,
are things I just did in the last couple of years. I was drawing for my grandkids, and my grandkids love coming over because we all draw together. Mm-hmm. And they're still at the age where they love to draw. So either the kid grows out of it or they don't, like we do.
You're still at the age where you love to draw too.
Exactly. I know. I just never grew out of it. What have I got? Oh, this is kind of cool. Obviously, I don't keep things in order around here.
It's a sketchbook?
Yeah, no, this isn't a sketchbook. These are some photos. This is from one of my last trips to Alaska. So these are wild grizzlies that I photographed up in Alaska. And just beautiful, beautiful animals. This grizzly walked right past me. She was as close as you are to me and walked right past me with this fish. And I had everything. It took everything in my body not to run away. Because I had a ranger with me. He says, don't run, don't run, don't run. And she walked right past me. I recently did a digital painting of this guy right here. But it's just a beautiful, I love the way the light was hitting on this far mountain. It was really cool. These are Dall sheep. These are white rams, and you can see them from the valley floors, and they're way, way, way up the mountains. They're really interesting because you can see them from the ground, from the valley, and you can hike up to them. This guy we hiked up to is a hard hike. There's just a little white dot up there, and as long as you stay below them, you can get as close as you want. I was only like 15, 20 feet away from this guy, but as soon as you get above them, you've got the advantage, and they get spooked and they take off. So as long as you stay below, they're fine. They don't.
You can jump onto them or something.
Yeah. Like here, I was shooting with a long lens, and he kept looking at me because I was way up above him, and he didn't like me up there at all. And moose and caribou. This is all in Denali National Park, right in central Alaska. It's one of my favorite places in the world. They call it the Serengeti of the North because there's so much wildlife there.
Do you still go on these trips for photographing and just seeing wildlife, or is most of it for workshops?
No, it's for myself. I usually, on these trips, I mostly do for myself. Matter of fact, I'm going, actually the next one's going to be with a group, but we're in October. There's a group of artists. We're going back to Kenya, and we're going to be going to the Masai Mara.
How many times a year do you do these trips?
Maybe once or twice. I mean, not super. Maybe 3 times.
But you're
like
always
I was just in I am always traveling, and I was just in Montana like a month and a half ago, photographing and at the guy's place that had the wolf pelt here.
What are these?
These are. So these, like I just pulled out my gouache paints, and I hadn't done a gouache painting in a long time, and I wanted to get my feet wet again, and so I did this is a little gouache painting that I did the other day. And then I just finished doing a watercolor course. And so there's another gouache painting. I did this as a live stream, one of the rhinos that I'd seen. But these are all watercolors that I did as demos for this course that I just finished. And I've got piles and piles of them. Just talking about painting loose, how to use frisket, letting watercolor be watercolor. How do you paint fur textures? All that kind of stuff. So many people get into watercolor and they get so tight and they get so, they get so bound up. And so I wanted to show that you can be really loose and let watercolor be what it is. Let it, painting skies can be super easy and fun and that sort of thing if you just, attack it and let the watercolor do what it does best. And that's, let it run around and let it do its thing. This is Acadia, the sketchbook that you saw there, where we're up in Maine. I went back again a couple of years ago with my father, and I took him, and I came back, and I used one of the photographs and did a quick watercolor sketch. Those rocks there are just incredible. This is a bison that I saw out in the snow just a few weeks ago when I was up in Montana. Watercolor sketch of that. Same with this landscape. This one I was talking, in both of these landscapes, I was talking about the abstract qualities of landscape and how when you really just look at the abstract shapes, they're not really representational. It's just our brain kind of pulling it all together. And these are just quick ones I did out of my head, just showing the use of
cool one.
Showing their use of frisket. This one here.
Each cloud is backlit.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
And then
what's frisket?
Frisket, this, when you paint, it's like latex, liquid latex, and you paint it on the paper
where and then you take it off?
Yeah, you paint it on the paper where you don't want the watercolor to go. Yeah. And so that's what I did here. So I just painted on the clouds and the sun, and then I did these big washes over the top, and then I pulled the frisket off and then finished off the clouds.
Okay.
And one of the first things I started learning watercolor when I was 8 years old. And my stepfather, who had a degree, a bachelor's degree in interior design, and so a lot of the designs he would do, he'd go over them in watercolor. So he sat me down one night when I was 8, and he showed me how to do a wet into wet wash. I just remember how magical it was. He did a sunset. He says, "This is how you do a wash," and I just remember being completely mesmerized by it. And so the very first lesson that I give in my watercolor course, as a little homage to my stepfather, and I sat down and I did a sunset wash just to show how the medium works, and just having fun with that. And then this was just a little Prismacolor sketch, and on hot press paper, smooth watercolor paper, and doing watercolor washes over the top of that. How you can tint drawings and that sort of thing. So these are all part of the course. And I've got that pile there, and I think I've got more. That was just a crappy drawing. This one here, I've got piles of stuff around here.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, that was just a made up lion. I just wanted to do some kind of character, but that's, once again, it's ink and watercolor. And then I threw a little bit of gouache over the top, for the light areas. Mm-hmm. And then over the summer, I was in Montana again and photographed, among other animals, I photographed this pronghorn, and then went back to my hotel room that night and did a little a ballpoint pen sketch with watercolor over the top. So lots of stuff like that. Yeah. This is a little watercolor of a... That's cool. Oh, it got damaged. Uh-oh. But this is a watercolor of a polar bear that I just did recently. I'm doing an animated short called Snow Bear, and so I got onto a polar bear kick, and so this was a ballpoint pen and watercolor sketch that I did. But you can see how I don't treat them.
Is that ballpoint pen in there as well?
Yeah,
all the little...
Yep, exactly.
So delicate then. Like...
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about ballpoint, is you can get super delicate with it. But stupid me, I treat my stuff badly, and I've got cat hair on it and all kinds of stuff.
You're showing.
Oh, this is cool. This is I did a show a while back. It was on cats, and so they asked me if I would participate, and it was all paintings and things like that. But I wanted to see if I could do something animation related. So I did these 2 panels. Each panel had 4 drawings of a cat, the walk cycle of a cat, and then I took those drawings and I put them in a little thing. I put them in this, and this accompanied the show, so that people could look at the images on the wall, but then they could flip this and they could see how the animation worked. So that was kind of cool, and it was really cool that they let me do it. The guy that was running the show was really kind of forward thinking, and he wanted to try something that they hadn't really done before, and it turned out to be a really popular attraction for the show. Kids loved it. That's a real monkey skull that I picked up in Nepal when I was there, and the skull is underneath all that jewel and silver and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what's that right next to it, to the left?
That anatomical skull?
Yeah, what is that?
That thing from Proko?
Oh, wow.
Wow, look at that.
What? Who's Proko?
There it is. Have you ever shown them before?
No, well I haven't released them yet. They'll probably be released by the time. Yeah, by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be released. But
this is so awesome. So my good friend Stan Prokopenko gave me this. So here it is, the unboxing.
Yeah.
Ta-da. So you can. The other cool thing is that it's got a tripod mount right here. You can mount it on a tripod and put it at different angles, and the jaw is magnetic. Look at this. How cool is that? It's a beautiful print. These are so nice. I highly, highly recommend it.
Thank you.
And I just got it, so I haven't figured out where to put it yet.
Put it on a mini tripod.
Well, that's a perfect idea. Yeah. I've got a mini tripod in amongst all this junk somewhere. Yeah.
Well, anyway, somewhere. Onto the cool stuff now.
Actually,
cool. This table.
Oh yeah, this desk.
You got
this desk. This is my original Disney desk. So, I jumped around on different desks while I was there, but this one, once I got on it, I stayed with it, and it moved with me every time I'd move offices. So I've had this desk since Beauty and the Beast. And the day, you can see a little carving right here. It's all scratched in. I scratched it in with an X-Acto knife. But what I did was I rubbed in graphite as much as I could into the table, and I sat down with a X-Acto knife and scratched out this lion portrait on the day that I started The Lion King. And it says right here, 1292. So that's when I started. That's when I sketched it, and then I was on the movie for about a year, and I spray fixed it. So that's how it survived all these years. It's been spray fixed. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Lots of history with this desk. And so when I left Disney, they let me buy it.
Oh, you have to buy. Oh, so this was like the desk at the studio.
Yeah, this is this at the studio where I actually worked every day
cool.
and animated. Yeah, this
so
is.
Everyone had the same.
Yeah, we all
desk?
had the same desk.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they were awesome. Yeah, and
awesome,
they were great. I mean, it's a it's a $5,000 desk, but I bought it for $1,200.
What are you working on?
This is some animation I did. I was doing a demonstration on how to do a take. So these are the drawings that I did for the demonstration. I also wanted to show you how, I wanted to show the viewers how distorted we could get. Here the character is going from this squished, scrunchy face up to this big look right here. So you go, whoop, changing expression, this big smile. Coming down. The circles are my keys. So here the cat's looking up and then doing a take and getting really excited. And you can see as the head comes up, the jaw catches up. And this is one here. I thumbnail everything. I make sure that my thumbnailing is, doing like pre-sketches, trying to figure it all out ahead of time. So these are some thumbnails that I did for this is a character I designed for one of my acting for animation courses. So these are all sketches I did as I was trying to figure out his design. And he's just this big burly guy, kind of a marine looking dude. And I did this little thing where I had him turning around. This is him turning around. It's just a simple turnaround. But I did it so I could figure out his the way he's built. You can see him just turning around, the eyebrow going up. He's not a nice guy. He's mean. He's a hard ass. This guy. So these are thumbnails for another little shot that I was animating with him. And so, here he is. Then he comes forward. I can't remember what he was saying.
This is for a course you did?
Yeah. These didn't make it into the course. I didn't end up using these, but I saved the drawings. And there's a scene in Beauty and the Beast where Belle is saying something to him, trying to plead for him to let her father go. And he goes, well, he shouldn't have trespassed here. And he comes right in the camera.
And he shouldn't have trespassed here.
Mm-hmm. And I animated that in the movie, so I wanted to do something similar with this character. He starts here, and he does a take. You can see him scrunch up. See that scrunch? Yeah. And then he jumps forward. So, it's fun stuff to do.
You still map out the
yeah, so these are the charts. Yeah, so these are how the in-betweens go. All the in-between drawings if I had done them, but I didn't. Because this is like drawing 1, that's drawing 9. So there's a whole bunch of drawings that have to go in between. But it's such a subtle movement, I don't want to have to do all those drawings. So there's 3 more drawings that go in between there. So that's that. And what else we got? So this is my digital setup over here. And
with 3 monitors?
Yeah, 3 monitors. Well, this monitor, because I use this one mainly for Dustin, my son, because when we do our live streams, depending on if I'm sitting at this desk or this desk, he sits in the opposite chair, and he uses that monitor to monitor, to monitor what's going on with our stream. Yeah. Cool. And then I use these. This is my reference monitor. When when I have reference to use, I put it up here, and then this is where my big Cintiq. This is a 32 that I do all of my work on. And then the stand, I built the stands for it. This stand right here, and I built. It
was very recent, right? That you built the stand.
Yeah, this one I built recent because I just got this one. I had a different setup. I had a 24 or 27 on the last one, and I had a different setup. But this one, we just threw it together really fast. And then this This rotates. I can move it around. You know, put it.
And you don't want to just buy an arm?
Nah. Why? I like building. I like building stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, and I'm gonna paint them all black eventually, so they all blend together.
I kind of like the wood.
I do too, actually. Oh, my skull. Well, this is
my favorite.
This
one
is
right here.
Yeah, this
giraffe. It's a freaking giraffe.
It's a giraffe, yeah, and it's real. That's a real skull. This one, I think, was hunted. Unfortunately, I went into a taxidermy shop in Texas, and they had it for sale, and I just didn't want it to go to waste. I didn't want its death to be, in vain. So I bought it, and I've used it as reference. I've used it for teaching, so it's really cool. These are casts right here. All 4 of these are casts. So I have a whole line of animal drawing courses on my website. And so anytime I pick a new animal to do a course on, I order the skull for that animal. So here I did a course on bears. And so I ordered a grizzly bear skull and a polar bear skull. Plus I ordered the polar bear skull because I'm doing an animated short called Snow Bear. And so I wanted to have this. And so you can see they're significantly different and yet significantly the same. But like grizzly bears have this forehead. They have a dish, whereas polar bears are really flat from their top of their head to their snout. And they're much longer. It's a longer head. But you can see too, they're a lot more robust. It's a bigger animal. Polar bears are bigger than grizzlies. They're the biggest carnivore on Earth. And then a horse skull right here.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, that's a horse skull. And a lot of people don't realize horses have canines. Right here. Yeah. Not all of them do, but a lot of them do.
Why do they have such big gaps between their, like...
just for the grinding.
And then there's nothing.
Yeah, I know. No, there's nothing there. They clip the grass with their front and they grind it with their back.
And what do they do with the canine?
It's mostly males that'll have them, and they'll use them for fighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when they're fighting other males. This is a lion skull, and I did a course on big cats. I just love this thing. You can see how robust, how big. First of all, how big a lion's head is, and but this is all I was
almost the size of your head.
Almost the size of my big fat head. But I'm always on the lookout for skulls. Like I said, these I did a course on big cats, and so I ordered these, and these are all casts. This is there's a lion, and this is a leopard. So you can see that a leopard is significantly smaller. But I'm always on the lookout for new skulls, and sometimes I find them. Like I have an otter skull that I have in storage from an otter that I found on the side of the road, and I kind of hid it off in the bushes and went back later and got the skull. Wow. But this one's real, and I can't live in Florida without having an alligator skull. And
so cool. Is this one real?
Yeah, this is real. This is a real skull. I picked this one up at a swap meet. So yeah, I think I paid like $30 for it too. Yeah, but it's an awesome skull. This is a big gator. This is about a probably 10-foot gator. So he's a big one.
So all the skulls on this shelf right here, they look like the same skull, just they get smaller. Like I don't know anything about cats. Are they all cats?
No,
they're not.
What's interesting is these 3 are the same and these 3 are the same. So these 3 are cats. So this is a leopard.
Okay.
This is a mountain lion or cougar, puma, and then this is a bobcat.
Okay.
So you can see that they basically all have the same structure. It just gets more and more delicate.
Yeah.
And then here you have a fox.
Okay.
And then a coyote, and then a wolf right here. So, yeah. And this is a big gray wolf. It's a big animal.
So it's dogs and cats.
Dogs and cats, right? I got dogs and cats on my shelf.
They're so similar.
Oh, I know. But you could look at our skull and just reshape it, and we've got all the same parts.
Reshape it.
Yeah. Except our orbital,
change it.
Except we this bone connects, whereas on the other animals they don't connect. For those of you that are Disney people, this is the original artists that worked with Walt Disney were the 9 Old Men. They were the original animators, and probably my favorite artist out of the 9 Old Men was Milt Kahl. And Melt animated Shere Khan and all kinds of really cool animation. But this is one of his drawings that a friend of mine gave me. And it's like one of my most prized possessions. And then this is about 1/5 of all my books too. So I've got piles and piles and piles of books. And they're mostly art. They're either art books or nature books. This book here, this was one of the first, when I was a young kid. This came out in 1980, I believe. So I was 12 in 1980. And I remember getting this book, and Guy Koliak. Guy Koliak he's pushing 90 now. So you can see how young he was in the photograph there.
Looks like Mr. Bean.
Yeah. But the images in here, these are all his paintings. And I would copy these drawings and paintings. He draws so well. And, and really a wide variety of mediums too. And that really influenced me. There's acrylic paintings in here. There's watercolor paintings. There's oil paintings. And I always loved this book. So I've had a version of this book, because the first one I had when I was 12, our house burnt down, and I lost all my books. But over the years I've kind of redone them. So this one I was able to find again in another store. I've got all kinds of stuff. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Hey, so your YouTube play button.
Yeah, I had 100,000. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's in these little? What's all this stuff? Is this materials? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So I've got my acrylic paints in there. What have I got in here? I've got palettes in there and clip. Oh, there's the clips. I knew I had clips. Doggone it! I was using those bread clips on there before, and in the last big charcoal drawing I did, I went out and bought clips, and I forgot that I bought clips.
I have the same thing where I'll have like drawers and drawers of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll just go buy it again.
Exactly. And so you end up with piles of the same stuff. So here's more acrylics, just different brands. These are
those marshmallows?
No, those are sponges.
Oh.
And
marshmallows.
enclosed dyes and markers, Sharpie markers, and charcoal. So everything's got its place. Yeah, more pens. So I've got piles. Oh, I think this is paintbrushes. Piles of paintbrushes.
What is this? Is this a Dundee? Hollywood Best Man? Is
yeah,
this
my
a Dundee?
kids. No, my kids picked this up in LA at one of the little gift shops in Hollywood.
Okay.
And bought it for me.
Best Man?
Yeah, because
your kids bought it?
Yeah, it was the best thing they could find. The closest thing they could find to Best Dad.
Best Man.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And this is Nick Birch, my business partner.
I live in this cabinet.
Yeah, he just walked out.
So yeah, I mean, I've got piles more, but we'd be here for hours.
Yeah.
Oh, that moose antler up there.
Oh.
I found that under a tree in my first trip to Alaska back in 1993.
And you brought it back?
And I brought it back.
On the plane?
Yep.
Wow.
I checked it. Yeah, I wrapped it. I made sure all the points were covered in cardboard, and then I wrapped the whole thing in bubble wrap and checked it.
That's funny. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. This
Great
is
studios.
Yeah.
I'm sure people, when they see your work and they see how, like, all the stuff you do, these courses you make, they don't think like your studio is this.
It's tiny. It's just a
box.
tiny little room. I've had big studios and I've had little ones. This is probably the most efficient studio I've had, because everything's got its place, and when we do all of our live streaming in here, we do all of our we record all of our courses in here. Yeah.
Nice.
So it works out great.
Yeah, you used to live on an island, right? In a big house. How big was your studio in there?
It was a whole floor. It was a whole floor. So it was
5 times bigger than this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
What
and
do you
then
prefer?
when I was in California, I had another one I had a whole building that was my studio, and that was awesome.
The whole Disney studio.
Yeah, well, no, but it was I had 3 different buildings on my property, and one of them was just a studio. That I miss. I did like that.
So you prefer the bigger space?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if I want to do some big paintings and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
When doing the charcoal drawings, it gets kind of cramped and it's tight. And
if you had a bigger studio, would you draw even bigger?
I'd go bigger. I'd definitely go bigger.
So this is. So you're being held back by the studio.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh man.
So
when are you upgrading?
Well, we'll see. I'm currently looking for property in a bigger house because my family grew.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got more people here. This house I used to live in alone, but my girlfriend moved in and 3 daughters.
Nice.
So yeah, so we've really expanded in size. So I gotta get a bigger place. So and actually, that's one of the things we'd like to do too. Is we're doing a lot of workshops nowadays, and I'd love to get a place where I could have people come to me and we can just teach.
Oh yeah.
Have like a little art ranch and just
That's
teach
cool.
right there. Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of
Like
fun.
a week-long workshop or something?
Yeah. And so we have a little school, a little building in the back where we could have digital classes, traditional classes, all that. So that's kind of one of our long-term goals for our business. That's it.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
Where do they find your stuff?
Oh, so you can see, if you're on social media, all of my stuff is Aaron Blaise Art. That's all on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram. Yeah. And then my website is Creature Art Teacher.
Yeah.
So
it's got a
go
lot of
check
good
that
courses.
out. Yeah, lots of courses.
Animation, a lot of animal drawing courses.
Animal drawing courses, animation, character design, storyboard, story writing.
Yeah.
Some painting courses in there. So there's just go check it out. It's really cool.
And it's really cheap.
Yeah. It is cheap.
Well, go check them out. And if you want to watch that lion demo, it's at proko.com/Blaise.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Check it out.